For decades, filmmaker Guillermo del Toro has been fascinated by monsters, not as creatures to fear, but as misunderstood beings capable of revealing the deepest truths about humanity. From his Academy Award-winning masterpiece The Shape of Water to cult favorites like Pan's Labyrinth and Crimson Peak, the Mexican filmmaker has consistently reimagined classic fantasy and horror tropes through a deeply emotional lens. Now, Del Toro is finally tackling the story he has dreamed about adapting since childhood, Frankenstein. Written by Mary Shelley in 1818, the novel remains one of the most influential works in literary history, exploring themes of ambition, morality, and the consequences of playing God. With a star-studded cast and a visionary director at the helm, this upcoming film adaptation promises to breathe new life into a story that has fascinated audiences for more than 2 centuries. Here's a complete look at the remarkable ensemble bringing Del Toro's Gothic vision to life. Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein. At the heart of the story is brilliant but dangerously ambitious scientist Victor Frankenstein, played by Oscar Isaac. Isaac has become one of the most respected actors of his generation, known for his ability to disappear into complex characters. His career includes standout performances in films such as Ex Machina, Dune, and the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Victor Frankenstein is a role that requires both intelligence and emotional turmoil. The character begins as a visionary scientist determined to conquer death itself but gradually becomes haunted by the consequences of his experiment. For Del Toro, Isaac brings the perfect combination of intensity and vulnerability. His performance is expected to capture the internal conflict that defines Victor, a man driven by genius yet consumed by guilt. In many adaptations of the story, Victor is portrayed as either a villain or a tragic hero. Del Toro's interpretation will likely explore the gray areas between those extremes, allowing Isaac to portray a deeply flawed but fascinating figure. Jacob Elordi is the monster. Perhaps the most intriguing casting choice is Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein's creature. Elordi first rose to fame with the hit HBO series Euphoria and the Netflix franchise The Kissing Booth, but his recent roles have demonstrated an impressive dramatic range. His towering physical presence and intense screen presence make him a compelling choice to portray the misunderstood monster. Originally, the role was set to be played by Andrew Garfield, but scheduling conflicts ultimately led to Elordi stepping into the part. Del Toro has long emphasized that the creature in his film will remain faithful to Shelley's original vision, an intelligent, sensitive being rejected by society because of his appearance. Unlike many past adaptations where the monster is mostly silent, the novel's creature is eloquent and philosophical. That complexity will allow Elordi to deliver a deeply emotional performance, portraying a character torn between innocence and rage. Mia Goth as Elizabeth Lavenza. Joining the ensemble is rising horror icon Mia Goth as Elizabeth Lavenza, Victor Frankenstein's fiancée. Goth has become one of the most exciting performers in modern horror cinema thanks to her unforgettable roles in X, Pearl, and Infinity Pool. Elizabeth plays a crucial role in the emotional core of the story. In the original novel, she represents Victor's connection to humanity and normal life, a reminder of the love and stability he abandons in his obsessive pursuit of scientific glory. Given Goth's ability to portray emotionally layered characters, many fans expect her version of Elizabeth to be far more complex than previous portrayals. Christoph Waltz as Dr. Pretorius. 2-time Academy Award winner Christoph Waltz is set to portray Drive. Pretorius, a character inspired by the iconic scientist from the classic horror film Bride of Frankenstein. Waltz is known for his mesmerizing performances in films such as Inglourious Basterds and Django Unchained, both directed by Quentin Tarantino. His presence in the film suggests that Del Toro's adaptation may incorporate elements from multiple versions of the Frankenstein mythos. Pretorius is often depicted as a morally ambiguous scientist who pushes Victor further into dangerous territory. Waltz's talent for delivering charismatic yet unsettling performances makes him an ideal choice for the role. Felix Kammerer as William Frankenstein. A major breakthrough star of recent years, Felix Kammerer joins the cast as William Frankenstein. Kammerer gained global recognition for his performance in the acclaimed war film All Quiet on the Western Front. William's role in the story is small but crucial. His fate plays a major role in shaping the conflict between Victor and the creature, ultimately driving the narrative toward tragedy. Lars Mikkelsen as Captain Walton. Veteran actor Lars Mikkelsen is reportedly portraying Captain Walton, the explorer who encounters Victor Frankenstein during his doomed Arctic expedition. Walton serves as the framing narrator of Mary Shelley's novel. Through letters to his sister, he recounts Victor's tragic story. Mikkelsen is widely recognized for roles in series such as House of Cards and Sherlock. His commanding presence makes him well suited to play the adventurous yet reflective sea captain. Charles Dance is a mysterious figure. Another standout addition to the cast is Charles Dance, known for playing Tywin Lannister in the epic fantasy series Game of Thrones. While details about his role remain under wraps, many speculate he could portray Victor's father or another influential figure in the scientist's life. Dance's ability to portray authority and gravitas will undoubtedly add depth to the story's dramatic stakes. Why this cast is perfect for Del Toro's vision. The strength of Del Toro's films has always been his ability to combine stunning visuals with deeply human performances. His previous projects often rely on actors who can balance fantasy with emotional authenticity. In Pan's Labyrinth, for example, actors helped ground a fantastical story in real human emotion. With Frankenstein, the director appears to be assembling a cast capable of delivering exactly that. The combination of established stars like Waltz and Isaac with rising talents such as Elordi and Kammerer creates a dynamic mix of experience and fresh energy. Guillermo del Toro's lifelong dream project. For Guillermo del Toro, adapting Frankenstein is more than just another movie, it's a lifelong passion. The director has spoken for years about how deeply the story affected him as a child. He has even collected Frankenstein memorabilia for decades, building one of the world's largest private collections related to the character. Del Toro has often said that he relates strongly to the creature, seeing it as a symbol of loneliness and rejection. Because of this personal connection, fans expect the film to be less of a traditional horror movie and more of a tragic Gothic romance. A new interpretation of a classic story. The story of Frankenstein has been adapted for film countless times since the early days of cinema. One of the most famous versions remains the 1931 film Frankenstein starring Boris Karloff as the monster. That performance helped define the creature's iconic appearance, flat head, neck bolts, and stiff movements, even though those elements never appeared in Shelley's original novel. Del Toro's version is expected to move closer to the book's depiction, presenting a creature who is articulate, emotional, and deeply philosophical. Production and visual style. Given Del Toro's track record, the film's visual style is expected to be extraordinary. His movies often feature elaborate practical effects, detailed production design, and striking Gothic imagery. From the haunting architecture of Crimson Peak to the fairy tale darkness of Pan's Labyrinth, the director has proven his ability to craft immersive cinematic worlds. Frankenstein will likely continue that tradition with elaborate sets, atmospheric lighting, and creature effects designed to evoke both awe and empathy. The emotional heart of the story. At its core, Frankenstein is not simply a horror story. It is a tale about loneliness, responsibility, and the consequences of human ambition. Victor Frankenstein's greatest tragedy is not the creation of the monster, it is his refusal to take responsibility for it. The creature, abandoned and rejected by society, becomes a reflection of humanity's cruelty. This emotional complexity is exactly the kind of storytelling that resonates with Del Toro's filmmaking style. Why fans are so excited? The anticipation surrounding Frankenstein is enormous for several reasons. First, the story itself is one of the most enduring myths in literature. Second, Del Toro's reputation as a visionary filmmaker guarantees a unique interpretation. Finally, the extraordinary cast promises powerful performances across the board. Few modern films combine literary prestige, Gothic atmosphere, and such an impressive ensemble. Release expectations. While an exact release date has not yet been confirmed, the film is expected to debut on the streaming platform Netflix after completing production. Given the scale of the project and the director's meticulous approach to filmmaking, the movie is already being discussed as a potential awards contender. Final thoughts. The upcoming Frankenstein adaptation represents a rare combination of literary legacy, cinematic ambition, and star power. With Guillermo del Toro finally realizing his lifelong dream project and a cast that includes Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, and Christoph Waltz, the film has all the ingredients to become one of the most memorable adaptations of Mary Shelley's classic. For fans of Gothic storytelling, character-driven drama, and visually stunning filmmaking, this version of Frankenstein may finally deliver the definitive cinematic interpretation of a timeless monster, and the tragic creator who brought him to life.